Well, guys, here we are, another segment of Conservatives of Texas. I am Alex Dienda. Always pleased to come on and chat with folks. I just want to remind everybody, don't forget about next week's show. We're going to have Josue Molina. He's a student out of Clarendon Community College, and he is a DACA um, individual. And I had the opportunity to talk to him last week, and it's going to be such an interesting story. He's been here since he was 2 years old, and you won't want to miss what's going on with this DACA situation. We want to really encourage anyone and everyone to get on here and listen to his story. He's a cowboy. He is a bull rider and a bronc. So, Josue, we are going to be excited to have you on. Tonight, we have a guest host again, Miss Elva Camacho. Always fun having you. Can you say hello to 4 people out there? Just joking. Say hello to the whole world. Hey, go for it.
Hi, everybody. Elva Camacho here, constitutionalist conservative here with Alex and Georgia.
Yep. Really and when she says she's a constitutionalist conservative, you better believe it. How many hours have we spoken?
Oh,
just on those things. Okay. Yes. It's great. Well, tonight, guys, as advertised, we have an amazing young individual. Her name is Georgia Snyder. She is a little bottle rocket. I'll tell you what. I went to a school board meeting about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Had the pleasure of hearing her speak. She was up there speaking. She's not even a teenager yet. And she got up there and she let them know how the cow ate the cabbage, I think. And I had to meet her, had to have her on the show. She wasn't upset with them. She was very professional. And I said, you know what? You are a delight. I have to have you on the show to tell your story about this locker situation. Georgia, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Georgia. I met Alex through a school board meeting I went to, and yeah, here we are.
That's right. She's an amazing young lady. So, Georgia, what compelled you to have that conversation with the school board here in Amarillo, Texas?
Well, the actual writing started as a assignment for my writing class, and we were on argumentative writings. So basically it was kind of a challenge to see if you could write about a topic that was really important to you, but also weigh in the side that was against yours while still being balanced, I guess, in your writing and not making it opinion-based. So I wrote it, and my teacher made it very clear. She said, Georgia, I've been teaching English for 8 years now, and I haven't seen anything like this. Like, you need to do something with this. So I read it to my mom. I read it to my dad. And then I actually read it to my mom's boyfriend, and he was the one that actually encouraged me to go to the school board meeting and actually try to go into action with it. In fact, in that time frame, I'm pretty sure I talked to my principal trying to get them opened 4 times, somewhere around there. And I think the last talk that we had, it ended off of something like she was going to type up a contract or something. And then when I spoke at the meeting, it had been over 3 months and I hadn't gotten a contract. So, yeah.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Listen, Elva, as a teacher, when you see a student shine like that and you see their paper, what does that do for you? I mean, how do you hearing Georgia speak? I mean, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's awesome because I love English. She is so articulate and so courageous. And what a joy to know that our youth are, doing the things that they're doing and stepping up. I mean, you guys might think it's something small, but to her, I mean, this is a start. I mean, she's going to go places, and the inspiration that she brings is extraordinary. It is. And it brings me so much joy to know that there's hope for our kids, and to see she that effort to that fight and that determination and that endurance and perseverance. I mean, and she's still going. So, I mean, it says a lot. You're awesome, kid. Oh my God, you are awesome. A+ for that.
I actually, the morning after I had talked at the meeting, I got called down to the assistant principal's office. I think it was second period. He slammed a paper on his desk and goes, "Sign it." And it was a locker agreement.
Yay!
And that was out of no happiness at all. He goes, "Well, we're kind of stuck here. If we don't give her a locker, I guess we're going to be frowned upon. So here's the locker, I guess."
Well, what a victory. Yeah, what a victory for you. You know, Georgia, you're still very young, and I know that you are looking at things with a different lean in life. But I want to tell you, from where I stand and where Elva stands, that's really a huge deal. It's really a big deal, and we love to see that the generation that's coming up, that you guys have the pep in your step and in your spirit to just be compelled. You know, I think that's the key word that we need to really revolve around in life. Is when you're compelled to do something, it's one thing to feel it, to know it, to understand it, but it's a whole different thing when you actually act on it. And so that's a big deal. It really is. So don't think of it as, or don't ever think of it as just, oh, it's just a locker thing. And I don't think you are. I think you understand the capacity that, you know, this is. So I was talking to you a little earlier before we came on, and I was going to go over some of the other sides of how they do promote, you know, wanting you to not have a locker, and the reason why. And so we want everyone out there to understand that we're not against, you know, the teachers or the independent school district or anything like that. We know that you get you get your information from the upper echelons, the powers that may be, and you have to do a job. So we get it. You know what I mean? So we do want to kind of bounce off of this how to survive without having a locker. So we're going to go through these one at a time, and we'll just bounce off of them a little bit, okay? So how to survive a school with no lockers. So this was updated on January 1st, 2022. It says many schools are getting rid of lockers. This cuts down on maintenance costs and noise. We can't have noise, guys. Cut it out with the noise. I think that's funny.
So, lockers will be.
Yeah. So the main reason cited by school districts for getting rid of lockers is safety. They are getting rid of places to hide guns and drugs. While you may feel safer and have a quicker commute between classes, the load you have to carry can seem like an entire locker on your back. So this little, I guess, article is going to kind of go through some things on how you can approach carrying this military pack. You know, because that's what I think of whenever I see these pictures. Y'all can't see them, but first of all, they're showing a grown. He looks like he's 17 years old. I mean, he's not a 12-year-old. You know what I mean? He's not a kid. So I don't understand the part where it says getting rid of places to hide guns and drugs. You can hide
them in your backpack that you have to carry around all day.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. And I'm trying not to be critical. It's just,
like, we did have lockers. Wouldn't it be like just inefficient for you to hide them in your locker? Like they already, even if you did have a locker, they already make you carry around your backpack all day.
Yeah, I think it would be more feasible for a person that was, God forbid, wanting to do anything to have whatever he needed right there on his person the whole entire time. It would be less beneficial if he were having to go to his home base of his locker each and every time. So I don't know. It's just, you know, it's off the cuff here. So
at least at my school, you know, all the times that you could go to your locker, it's either passing period or people are walking back and forth between lunch, and another period. So, like, unless you're thinking about, like
True.
hugging your locker and then pulling out a gun, just
Yeah, I'll tell you.
there. Like, there's no point.
Well, one of the first ones here, it says assess your options to find the right book bag for you. You have several options for carrying school supplies when there are no lockers. Make sure that you have enough space in the bag to fit your necessities, but you will also want to consider your comfort and well-being. How comfortable is it, Georgia, when you're carrying this, backpack? How does it feel after about the first three periods?
Um, First three periods are usually okay. One of the things that really made me laugh was it, I can't remember what month was it, but one of the kids in my third period, he sets down his backpack, like puts the arms of the backpack around the edges of the chair, and then goes to the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second he gets up from his chair, the chair tips over because the backpack's on the back of it.
That's true.
How
I see
heavy
it all
would
the
you?
time.
Yes. How heavy would you say your backpack is?
Oh, geez. I remember before I gave my talk, I think in my essay, I think I weighed my backpack and it was like 55.
Wow. How heavy? I
Mhm.
mean, you don't have to answer, but that's probably about the same weight as a lot of kids, you
Yeah.
know.
There's a
Yeah.
So,
seventh grader that's up to my waist.
mhm. Yeah, that's
Of course, that was probably, that's not just a seventh grader that happens to be shorter than me. But
mhm.
Mhm.
still, like, that's, the backpack's probably half the size of him.
Well, do
Sorry.
they let you carry or have like a rolling briefcase or anything like that, like you
Mm-mm.
see in the airport?
No.
I wonder
No.
why. Did
A
they tell you why?
couple of kids, um, I suppose if you really needed to, like, I suppose you could probably wiggle your pencil case into, like, your violin case if you did
Mhm.
orchestra, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Speak on that a little bit. You were mentioning a little earlier, before we got on, that there are people that are in orchestra and band and whatnot. I mean, how do they manage? They have a backpack and now they have these instruments. Uh,
Yeah.
what do you say? I mean, what does
I
that look
don't
like?
it's just
It's a
I don't
lot.
yeah, it's a lot. I mean, with the backpack on your two shoulders and, because when the first thought anybody would have when you say, "Oh, my back is hurting because of my backpack," you
Mhm.
say, "Oh, is it on both shoulders?" Or like you centering the weight. But, like, imagine you have a 55-pound backpack centered across, and then what? Maybe a 20-pound violin on one side, like, and then I go, or at least my past school year, I went up and down the stairs 4 times.
Oh
And then
yeah, I didn't even consider stairs.
yeah, and
That has to be.
our school, it was built in the 20s. Our stairs are steep.
Hmm.
Stairs are steep. That's how I
Well,
see. I see a lot of that too,
yeah, that can't be
and
comfortable.
everything she's saying is absolute. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, the next one here says, Georgia, why don't you adjust your bag for the best fit? I'm kidding. It doesn't have your name, but might as well. So, when you adjust your backpack, does that help?
Um, there was a couple of times that I kind of like wiggled in between.
Hmm.
'Cause my backpack, I think every backpack has this, but they had like little clips where you
Hmm.
make the strap tighter or looser. I
Sure.
um kind of balanced between those for a little bit, and like when they were loose, it just felt like there was a brick just like pulling you backwards. 'Cause it was
Hmm.
like hanging more than it was strapped to your back. And then when it was tighter, it just felt like you were pulling like a I don't even know what it felt like. It just felt like you had like an excessive amount of like like you were trying to run a marathon and
Mm-hmm.
brats and bricks glued down to your back or something like that. Like it was awful.
Have you heard from
I've seen
any of
kids like this trying to get up,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
this, just trying to get up. Help me, Mr. Muncher, because it's like they can't like get out of their
Or the
chair
table
sometimes because it's
totally
so
flipped over.
heavy.
If you're flipped over, you're just like,
Mhm.
I think of like
Yes,
a
they're always
turtle.
there.
The
Yeah.
image I get is of a turtle on its back or something on the
yeah.
beach. So I'll tell you. Well, let me ask you: do any of your peers, any of your friends, do they complain about pain?
Yeah.
Soreness.
I think it was mid first semester.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really, really snowy, cold, mushy day. And my best friend that I have 8th period with, we were walking out together and she goes, "Hey, I have to walk home." And I'm like, "No, you're not walking home. I'm giving you a ride." So from that moment on, we gave her a ride like every day.
Mm.
So like a lot of times when like we would be walking to the car, she'd be like, "Geez, my back hurts."
Well, the nightmare is this. I know an individual that had to carry their backpack just beginning in college. They were able to use their lockers when they were younger, but just beginning in college, from that point till maybe 4 years afterwards, to this day, which is over 15 years ago, they still have pain on their right side. It's like a knot that never ever leaves. So hopefully they'll figure something out, with these lockers someday. And I'm glad they it seems like they have there at Sam Houston for the time being. I know that, after speaking yesterday, you may consider not going back. You're going to
Yeah.
probably think about getting homeschooled. Was it something that revolved solely on this, issue, or was it?
No.
I mean,
No. This was not even a factor of
mhm.
me doing homeschool. Me and my dad, we've been wanting to do homeschool for, see, what year was I in 4th grade? 20, suppose it was, what year was it? 2019? Yeah. Since 2019, we've been wanting
Mhm.
to do it. So just because, when it really shined through in 5th grade, when they'd give us homework and I'd be done on Monday before we even got out of school because I'd be done with all my other assignments. And then, we had this thing called RTI. I'm
Mhm.
not sure if any other students out there have that, but it's basically or in 5th grade, it was a period in which we could just kind of catch up on anything. And because I didn't have anything, I was a library aide for that year. And not complaining about that. That was awesome. I loved being a
Mm.
library aide, but still, like, really? Like a catch up period? And I
Mhm.
had absolutely nothing.
Mm. I see. So you just personally you felt you weren't being challenged enough.
Yeah, and like I also know that like at the pace my brain wants to work
Mm-hmm.
and how my brain works and what my brain wants, like if my brain is in math mode, I want, like math like coming at me. I don't want just one paper that I'll get done in a couple of scribbles and I'm sitting there for 45 minutes, you know? So, like I want to be able to, I want to be able to work.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think I read, let's see, how many books did I read during the school year? Maybe 5, 6, maybe. And they were all, no offense to anyone, but I personally think fiction is the best. I don't know why. I just don't like nonfiction. I mean, I like realistic fiction,
Mm-hmm.
but nonfiction is just like, I don't know. So, nonfiction, I like every time we would go to the library, and it was usually 8th period that we went, everybody would rush over to like the graphic novels of the fiction section, and I'd be going over to the biography section of the nonfiction. I don't know why. I just don't. Again, I said I like realistic fiction, things that could actually happen. In fact, I just finished reading a book, and this has been the first time that I actually finished a book in under a week. And this was a hefty 400-page book that I read in under a week. But it was realistic fiction. It didn't actually happen, but it was like, and me and my dad have talked about homeschool, and say we just forgot the whole entire school system completely, and like say I didn't have work till 4:00 in the afternoon. Say I got done at 11 and I was able to do community service or babysitting or go help out at my church. Like I could do so much with 5 hours of my day instead of just sitting in class watching the time tick by.
Yeah. Well,
that is awesome. You are a busy girl. Busy girl. I love that though. I love that. And when she talks about 4 or 5 books a year, I mean that's a lot for a girl her age. And what she means is those are chapter books. Chapter books are tons of chapters, and like she said, 450 some odd pages. I mean, that's a lot of reading. That's awesome that your brain works like that. But you know what? Mine's is the same way. I do the same thing. So you're an awesome kid. I love that.
Keeping your brain worked out continuously. That's good. So back to the choosing the best items for carrying your supplies, your backpack and whatnot when you don't have a locker here. It says here, find a bag with multiple compartments to help keep everything organized. Is that realistic, or what do you think, Georgia?
My backpack had a good 3 main pockets, and in every pocket it had like little like nook and cranny Velcro pockets and all that stuff. The only pocket that I really used in that sort was in the very, very front pocket that I stored a pack of 50 color pencils that I got for my birthday. But like you can't fit a binder in one of those little knick-knack Velcro pockets. Like you can't even fit your pencil bag in one of those. And still, just a little thin, what our backpack inside's made out of, I don't know. Like whatever, a little thin sheet of fabric from the inside of your backpack pocket is not going to do anything.
Right. Well, the next one here, it says store your electronics separately. It says if you are relying on computers and tablets for your textbooks or assignments, you will want to make sure they stay in one piece, of course, and remain functional.
That's exactly why we had a problem with kids would be on their Chromebooks and then they'd just be walking around with their Chromebooks open. Well, like 8 shattered Chromebooks later, still haven't learned our lesson.
I see. Well, I would hope that maybe one day we could use these electronics as some type of resolve. I mean, why can't we just put all of our textbooks, download them on one piece of electronic, and just carry that? I don't understand how come that hasn't come to fruition by now. I mean, why are we still even using books?
One of the main thing is we don't use textbooks anymore. They don't issue textbooks. So I'm not sure, because there is an option to do at my school. There's an option to do Algebra 1 in 8th grade. If you do pre-AP Math 6th and 7th. I did it 6th, but I don't know if they issue a textbook for that. But at least for 6th and 7th grade that I know of, they don't issue textbooks. It's Chromebooks, lunchbox, math binder. What else? Instruments, maybe. And like this was one of the main topics that the principal was puzzled about. Like, what makes these things so heavy? Like, you're not carrying 10-pound textbooks for every class. Like, what's making this so heavy? And like, I think they took No, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I had my locker a week before they took up Chromebooks.
Mm-hmm.
When they even took up Chromebooks, we were still carrying around our math binders, our lunch boxes, possibly instruments, and like that was incredible not having your Chromebook in your backpack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, and there was they even told us they don't think they're going to issue Chromebooks next year, just because like one girl in my 7th period, we were taking a quiz one time, and I hear everybody's done, and I just hear this like awful like nails on a chalkboard sound. With my head behind me. She is super gluing her stickers to the back of her Chromebook.
Wow. Nice.
Literally has a bottle of super glue and super gluing her stickers to the back of her Chromebook. Keep in mind, we're not even supposed to put stickers on our Chromebooks, yet super glue them to our Chromebooks.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there's kids writing their names in Sharpie, painting on their Chromebooks, drawing with pencil like in between the keyboard keys, and everything else, you name it. There's kids that put googly eyes over the Dell logo in the center. You name it, someone's probably done it.
Well, hopefully one day they'll just.
Well, I carry a purse. I carry a purse, and it's just my wallet. I have a small makeup bag in there, my phone, my charger. I mean, those little things add up in a purse, because my purse is heavy. If my purse weighs a good 10 pounds.
Yeah. And I was about to say, even the classes that don't make you carry a binder, keep in mind the only class that made us carry a binder was math. But like, I think in science we had a folder with like a bunch of like periodic table and like formula charts in it. And I think for like the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks, she made us carry our journals every day. And we had a journal for choir, again, etc. from the kids that were in orchestra carrying an instrument. They didn't have a choir folder, but their
Is it a journal like this? Is it a journal like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these journals, a lot of kids use them, and they probably weigh good maybe 2 pounds, maybe.
Yeah.
And
it's weird because
it's got a number of sheets in there, so you can just imagine like a pack of paper.
Yeah, and like I even agreed with the principal. Like, there's not much in there. Like, backpacks should not weigh this much.
It's crazy how much it does.
The fact that I cleaned my backpack out twice a week did absolutely nothing. So keep in mind, anyone watching, no, I wasn't carrying rocks in the bottom of my backpack. But like, there's no reason why it should be that heavy, but it is.
That is so odd. The next talking point that they mention here is try to carry only essential items, but you just mentioned that you clean it twice a week. I mean, I think you're auditing it pretty often. I can't understand why it weighs that much.
Yeah. What are you supposed to do? Intentionally leave your Chromebook at home and then call your dad sobbing 5th period because, Dad, I need you to bring my Chromebook. I forgot it at home and my teacher's yelling at me because I don't have it. Like, no.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, hopefully one day what they can do, if the TEA is listening out there, maybe what you guys can do is, I don't know, have just PCs in the school, and everyone generally has a laptop nowadays at home. I know a lot of districts are issuing these Chromebooks, and just keep that at home. Use your PC, have a USB port. That thing's about that big. I mean, a little thumb drive.
Not big, no.
And carry that, and plug that bad boy in, and everyone's happy.
That's a good idea. Like, have all your like personal passwords and logins and stuff stored on that USB drive, and then just click it into public PC, and then you're off.
Yeah, and in each classroom, have a little compartment there. I know that when I was growing up, they had shop class, and underneath the big old thing there, they had little lockers underneath, so you could have your pencils and whatnot already in your classroom. So next thing here, leave some of your things with your favorite teacher. Yeah, I just kind of
Yeah, there was. See, let me think. 2 teachers that let us keep their supplies in classroom, and was it more than that? No, 3, I suppose. It was first period, which was social studies, but a folder with 2 pages in it isn't gonna add or like it's not gonna do anything. Second period, aside from those last 4 weeks, we could keep our journal in there. Didn't do much. See, what was the other one? 8th period, she let us keep our journals in there. Once again, didn't do much. So really, like, it just comes down to that big, bulky math binder, because he made us keep our notes, our worksheets, our unit tests, and, like, if you know, again, if the TEA is listening out there, those things are thick. And he made us staple the correct, or not the correction pages, just, like, the review pages to them. And so, like, that binder was struggling for its life trying to keep the rings straight. But really, it was just the binder, the instruments, possibly, the lunchbox, and the Chromebook. But, yeah.
How about it? And it gives this suggestion also. You may have already done this. I mean, I know you're a pretty smart young lady, so I'm sure you've already done all these things. But use one notebook for several subjects. Does that help? I mean, does
there
that
was
lighten the
talk
load?
about possibly them doing that for next year's 6th grade.
Okay.
I guess there was complaints about, just too many journals. I don't know. But still, even then, if you buy like one of those 3 subject journals at Walmart or something, like those things are not that big, but like still, those things are hefty. So.
Well, one of the cons on that would be if you lost that, you lost 3 subjects. If you got it damaged or wet or something like that, you're pretty much done.
Most of those teachers, like, say it's a Thursday and you lost your, sheet with all your work, they'll work on it. Oopsies, you got to start over. Wait, are you going to pull up the questions for me? Oh, yep, sucks us up. I guess you can figure it out.
That's funny. Well, all the rest of these are some things that we've already went over. The last one here says, decide the best order for the items in each section of your bag. I mean, but that still doesn't negate the weight.
Yeah.
It's because you put something in this section versus this section. I mean, it's like what weighs more, a ton of bricks or a ton of feathers?
Yeah.
Well, look, it's 7:33. It's really fun. I was talking to you guys yesterday, and I wanted to commend, your mother, and also all those that are around your proxy that have established, some type of such a structured foundation in who you are. And hopefully she hasn't changed her mind. Is she nearby? You want to come on, Sarah?
Mother.
We'd love to. Well, thank you so much.
Let me pull up a chair.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, ready. Drum roll, please.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for, for allowing us to spend some time with your lovely daughter. And what do you, when you hear her speak and approach the things with this forward lean like she does, how does that make you feel? I can tell you from our end, we know the reason behind these things. It's an established foundation, the home and whatnot. But we'd like to hear from you to speak on that. How does that? What works for you guys in getting to this point? Such a lovely young child.
Well, thank you, first of all, for asking her to come on. That was a big honor just for her and for us to thank you for sharing your time with her and asking her to just share her story. And really, that's how it started back in February, was just a story, a piece that she wrote for her language arts class, which she shared with you. But, really, when she read it to me, I mean, it was a great paper and it was really well written. But, to be honest, I didn't think much about her, running at the flagpole, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it was a little later when she read it for my boyfriend and I, and he was like, you really should do something with this. And, just with a little bit of encouragement, and it didn't take much. Georgia was really enthusiastic about wanting to do that. And I think that, something that hasn't been mentioned, but I think something that's important is that, this isn't just about Georgia or, her friend or even her school, but, it's about the whole school district, and it's about kids in, all over town that aren't, having access to their lockers. So it's not just about one child, but it's about, all these kids that it's happening with, all over the city. So I think Georgia had a real, desire to speak out, not just to help herself, but also for other kids. Same thing.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what Elva was mentioning last night a little bit about when she found out that she may be staying, home next school year because of the homeschool or whatnot. But she was mentioning last night that still this is such an impact, when other folks hear this, this situation, they'll be encouraged, to want to take that step, and they'll be inspired. When I see young folks like Georgia, I don't want to share my age, but even at my age, it makes me smile inside, and it gives me confidence that apparently, we're still having engaged conversations at the home, and that there are some teachers out there that are still really motivated in an individual sense, student by student, which, I commend your language arts teacher to point out that this is amazing. This is great. There's so much work that is being done in the school level that it's hard to find teachers that will do something like that. So tell your teacher, if you see her or whatever the case is this summer, or even send her an email tell her from Conservatives of Texas, thank you so much for being an inspiration to you.
I actually, the morning that I got called down to the assistant principal's office, they actually gave me that paper because your parents needed to sign it. So I'm walking down the hallway. My second period was past my 8th period, my English class. And so she didn't have a class second period. So I poked my head in there and I was like, Mrs. Hendershot, guess what? And she goes, what? And I said, well, I read my essay at the meeting yesterday and I got a locker. And she goes, what? And she starts jumping up and down. She goes, girl, you should have told me. I would have come to the meeting.
What's her name again?
Mrs. Hendershot.
Mrs. Hendershot, we appreciate you. Hopefully you'll get to see this.
Good job. Yes.
Yeah. Big clap for you,
That
Mrs.
is
Hendershot.
awesome. I mean, if I could cut in and say also going back about what an inspiration you are going to be to other students and encouraging them to be there. They will you forever because you fought for something you believed in and you kept going and did not stop and you made things happen. And the support you did from your beautiful parents and your teacher and people like Alex especially, I know Alex personally as well. I mean, when he first started, he was like a little off and he was so inspired by you as well as myself. I mean, to hear you talk and how articulate you are and how goal driven you are. I mean, mom and dad, and your support system plays a great deal in that. You guys are awesome. have raised a beautiful daughter and very smart girl and fighter. And Georgia, I'm about to call you and
Georgia, what are some of your aspirations? What are some of the things that you want to do once you get out of school?
Well, I can definitely see myself going into some form of the medical field. For a while, it was a heart surgeon,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure I want to do that just because I asked my dad, and he said like that's a good 18 years of college, and I don't want to be 40, and that'd be my first year of surgery residency. So don't know if I want to do that, but yeah. So
that is so cool.
I'm kind of thinking about, I feel like still, even though maybe not a heart surgeon, I feel like still some sort of surgeon would be cool. One of my dad's good friends, she's a general surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'd be pretty fun. Way less school than a heart surgeon. But I also feel like maybe a pediatric surgeon would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a pediatrician. I don't know. But like all of those jobs sound really, really fun. So
I do know that you can apply for internships even at your age. I did it
Yeah.
for, and so they always love seeing the young faces in the office and taking you guys under their wings. So yeah, consider doing that. And we have several. I don't know what they call them, groups here in Amarillo. They all work together, and I'm sure they could, find something for you one of these summers to just do a summer internship. That would be awesome.
yeah. And to be fair though, I say it sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, I feel like I can find myself, say I was a pediatrician or a pediatric surgeon. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that'd be a job that I'd be like, well, gotta go to work. Like I feel like I'd actually enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair though, a pediatric surgeon or even just a general surgeon, those are pretty long shifts, of course, depending where you work. But, when my dad gets off work, he's a nurse. When my dad gets off work after a 12-hour shift, he's not sunshine and rainbows. But he's
those surgeons, they feel that way. They do. Everyone does. Doesn't matter what job you do. Some days you get tired.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can attest to that too. But I think what you're saying, Georgia, when you go to work and it's not work, I understand that. When what you were talking about, there's a special fulfillment that you have when you want to go to work. There's a big difference between that. So yeah, so when you find that,
Yeah. And I'm sure you can, relate to that, Elva, just because, you're a teacher. There's probably in this past year and years past, there's probably days that, something special is happening or whatever that you're, say getting ready and you're excited to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, teachers have a hard job.
Yeah, and there's nothing
tough.
They do. They have
fulfilling than that. Yeah.
one of the hardest jobs, and
They should be paid more.
Yes, you should, and I should.
Thank you.
I have a huge respect for teachers because they're real angels, and they do the work that not just anybody can do. So, thank you for being a teacher. That's a wonderful and hard job.
Yeah, it really is. And so I do want to mention that an individual at the school board, he did resolve the issue in a timely fashion. So I do want to commend him. If you want to speak to that just a little bit, Georgia.
Yes, was it the day after I spoke? Yes. David Nance, he's the president of the school board. Hi, if you're watching. Anyway, he called my principal and he said, Georgia spoke at the school meeting yesterday. She mentioned that she's talked to you before and she knew that, or that you knew that she was there, and, what's the holdup with this? And once again, the next day, the same day that he called, second period, I was called down and slammed a locker agreement on my desk. So,
well, there you go.
Well, and Mr. Nance gave me a call as well, and I have to say he was so very kind, very nice, and did a great job at resolving the issue. And when he and I spoke, I kind of told him again that I really hope that this would make a difference for kids all over town, not just Georgia. And he said that definitely the school board would look into that. It happened kind of right at the end of the school year, but I can't say enough for him calling, right away that next morning and really putting into action what he heard in the meeting the night before. So that was really cool.
Yes, indeed. And what we want to express to our leadership that's out there, whether it be school board, city
leadership teachers.
What's that?
Leadership teachers. You guys do a lot.
Yeah. We understand that there's so many working components out there that you can't possibly know everything at all times. So we want you guys to understand out there in leadership, when we go speak at these school board meetings, we're not upset. We're just trying to bring forth the information. And so I just want folks out there to understand that there are some people out there that will complain about that noisy wheel at Walmart, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of us out here that we see things, and we're just out here to try to be an ally to, it's one hand washes the other. And so we thank you guys for doing what y'all do. And we just hope that you guys understand that many of us out here just want to work together with you guys. And so when Georgia stepped up and she did her thing, it got my attention. And Georgia, that's what we want to express to you, is that you doing things like that, people going out towards the Red Sea, it makes the water move. You know what I mean? And so good for you. The miracle is the people moving, taking action. And so when you don't apply, it's like just giving a hungry person a menu. That's almost just mean.
Yeah.
How about getting them something to eat? So what you did in your application is you did something about it, and it got a lot of folks' attention.
And what I'd like to add is, if you're trying to make a change at your school, or even if it's not a school, even if it's your workplace or anywhere else, you don't have to go to the board of directors or the board of anything necessarily. The only reason I went is because I tried to do, and again, my first thought, I didn't even think of, actually publicizing it and making it known. It was literally just a writing assignment. Well, then it spiraled into talking to my principal just about possibly at Sam Houston, and then it spiraled to the whole school board, and now I now I'm being watched from people all over Texas. So hi.
There you go.
But you don't have to go to a school board meeting to make yourself known, and you can show leadership in a array of ways. You don't have to make a change in public to be a leader.
You are awesome. Oh my goodness.
Sarah, I don't know what to do with that. That she's too young to realize those things.
Oh, I'm just you blow me away. Oh my goodness.
The small things, though, it really is.
Yeah.
It is the small ways that we live our life every day that make the big difference, I think. And it's the things that we do when no one's watching. It's the things that we do, that aren't necessarily publicized.
Integrity.
Right. And that's a big thing,
Well, we live in the TikTok generation. We live in the social media jungle of junk. And yes, we're on social media here, and it's a necessary tool in some aspects, but for the most part, most young individuals are just really about the meme, and the 5 seconds, and it just listening to Georgia, uh, and her humility in how she approaches things. Um, that's that's just so rare. It's just so rare, and I'm honored to have you guys on. So thank you again, Sarah, and
Thank
uh,
you.
it's really neat. It's
Yeah.
really good.
Thanks for
I
having
mean, we've had people on here that have run for office, for Senate, for Congress.
Yeah.
We've endorsed Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. We've done so many things, and I'm here to tell you, this is this segment here with Georgia is really it's really moving my spirit. It's so nice to see, So
I
keep
can't say it enough either. Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, we've been with Conservatives of Texas for years now. Alex and I have known each other, and I have to attest to what he says as well. I mean, this is something very special to be able to be a part of and be a witness to, and you bring such sunshine to this spectrum with everything that's going on, and knowing that here you are, and you're doing something that you, again, it seems like it's small, but it's so huge. It's so huge, you don't even know how big it is.
Thank
So
you.
good for you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
absolutely amazing. So, guys, what I want to do now is I'm going to give Georgia just a few minutes to end us out as far as what she wants to present to the folks out there that may be listening that are in her age bracket, and to kind of give them a little bit of a ripple of motivation. So I'm sorry, Georgia, to put you on the spot, but I think you can handle it.
I think so. I'm ready.
Go for it.
I think if you are wanting to make a change, you can do it. And it took me years to realize that I had a voice. And just because I portrayed myself and I believed at school that I'm pretty quiet, aside from my, little circle of 4 or 5 people that I can really truly be myself around, you can make a change and you do have a voice. You just have to put that to good use. And instead of maybe using that voice to spread rumors and tear people down, try using it for good or leadership, or maybe go up to someone and say, "Did you do something with your hair? I really like it." Just those little actions of kindness can make someone's day, and really maybe even say bumping into a person accidentally in the hallway and saying sorry and asking if they're okay. That could put them over the moon, because I'm just going to be honest, people suck, and they will not, they don't, when they're kind of in their bubble and in their zone, say they shouldered you. Okay, whatever. Didn't hurt you. Whatever. And like there was this kid the last week of school that, like, for some reason just like had it out for me for no reason. Like, she came up to me one day. I was wearing a hoodie and she goes, "I really like your hoodie." And I'm like, in the middle of me saying thanks, she goes, "Just kidding, it's ugly." Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, there are those type of people where it really comes into play. If you're not going to be kind, don't say anything. And if you're just going to be rude, and especially rude for absolutely no reason to a person that you don't even know the name to, like, just don't do anything. Just keep walking. Mind your own business. Like, that person's not going to care if you just keep walking, because that's what they're trying to do too. You know, like they never picked a fight with you. You know, in fact, they never really asked for that. You know, conversation, I guess. And of course, you know, no one asked for you to go up to them and say, you know, hey, I really like your hair, or, you know, whatever. But if you're going to do that, use it for good, and don't take it for granted, and don't take other people for granted, because it always comes back to you in some way, shape, or form, either from you getting bad luck or people realizing what kind of person you are. Because those kids, their friends thought it was funny. And that's the only reason they did it. Because I could see that they aren't mean people on the inside. They just did it because it's cool. And if they saw an opportunity to do that, they took it. Because it made them cool. And ironically, guess who the popular kids were this year? Mean people. So it's a world where people, you won't be popular for being kind. But at least use it for good, and know that you have a voice and that you can change the world with that. Even if it's just one little baby step at a time, and even if you don't even know that you want to change it, but you have amazing people around you that encourage you and support you, and that's all you need to light up your day and change the world for good. So,
wow.
That's absolutely astounding, and it's a beautiful statement, Georgia. And I just want to let you know that that just doesn't happen in school. I mean, it's just it's the culture that we're in, and it's unfortunate. So I think you're way ahead of the curve. So good for you. You know, the psychology behind those things sometimes hurt people. You know, and that person is hurting inside. Maybe I'm not excusing it, but you know, I heard you say that that person probably isn't even probably like that on the inside. So it's great that you have that framework. And so that's amazing. So good for you. Sarah, thank you again for allowing us this time. I know it started off with lockers, but I think it ended up with life lessons, and a lot of folks out there that have those spiritual lockers, if you will. I'm glad that now they've been opened and they can see things a little differently, and we're just so thankful to you, Georgia. And you guys are absolutely wonderful. I just want to remind folks out there that next week we'll have Josue Molina. He is a DACA individual. And so please tune into that. We want to hear his story on what's going on right now. He's facing deportation, and we want to figure out what's going on here because he's in college. He's a bronc rider, rides bulls, and everything is looking good for him. I don't understand, but hey, we'll get into that next week. Elva, once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And remember, guys.
Oh, what a pleasure it was here.
Yeah,
thank
it really
you.
It was really a joy.
Thank you, Georgia and Mommy.
Thank you. Thanks for having
It
us.
was so great meeting you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, they
Keep
really
up the
are.
great work, girl.
thank you.
And remember, guys out there, you can find us on YouTube.
Both.
Yes, ma'am. You can find us on YouTube. It's the quotation off the cuff in quotation at YouTube or here on Facebook. So you guys have a wonderful night. Thank y'all all for joining us. Georgia, Sarah, Elva. Good night.
Good
Good night.
Thank you.